Hi there, this is John Frenay, and welcome to an Encore presentation of our Legacy Business Spotlight. These are best done in person, and with the current state of emergency restrictions, that's just not possible. So we will be re-releasing our past episodes every Saturday at noon until this pandemic is in our collective rearview mirror. Until then, enjoy this Encore presentation of our Legacy Business Spotlight.
Some businesses succeed, some don't. Then there are those that seem to have been around forever. The true entrepreneurial success story. How did they do it? What was their vision? What makes a success? In this special episode for Eye on Annapolis, we speak with the true success stories, those business owners that have been around for decades, learn from their successes and failures. Now, here's host John Frenay.
Hey there, this is John. Just before we get into this episode with Jeff Schaub from Annapolis Marine Art Gallery, I wanted to let you know that we had a little bit of a technical difficulty with our recording, and we had to move to a plan B, so our audio is not quite up to par, and I do apologize for that, but I know you're going to enjoy this Legacy Business Spotlight with Jeff Schaub from Annapolis Marine Art Gallery. We jumped here onto the Annapolis Marine Art Gallery, which is right down on Dock Street, right? Dock Street?
Yes.
Dock Street. Downtown Annapolis, overlooking Ego Alley. You are a few doors down from one of my favorite hot dog stands in town, Pip's Hot Dogs, which is...
May it live forever.
Absolutely. Not that there's that many hot dog stands in town, but I would do that. And we're here with the owner, Jeff Schaub. Did I pronounce that right?
That's right. Yeah.
I didn't. See, there was a potential there for me to mess that up.
Schwab is the usual.
Schwab?
Schwab is the usual mispronunciation.
Okay. But Schaub.
Schaub.
Okay. We're here with the owner, Jeff Schaub, who I didn't realize that you've been here for 41 years.
Yes.
And have you always been in this location?
Yes. We started here. Two of the owners of the art gallery were originally Cindy McBride, who has McBride Gallery up Main Street now.
Okay.
She early on she was bought out by the owner partner, and Barber Reed was the original owner. She owned it for 20 years, and then I came along.
Okay. So you've had this now for...
Second owner in 41 years.
In 41 years. And you have seen, you've seen a lot of changes down here.
Oh, yeah. I've seen a lot of change, but then Annapolis is averse to change, really.
Get out. Yeah. Come on. I hadn't noticed.
Yeah, right. But we've been pretty much, because of the fact that we depict the activities and the heritage of what's here.
Now, what's your background? Are you a conservator?
No,
or
I'm
a businessman?
Administrator. By profession, I went to school with got a degree in public health.
Okay.
And healthcare management, and did that for 26 years all over the country. And then I decided I'd made enough money at that, and plus it was going to kill me. It was a stressful job. And
I want to say this is probably an incredible bit. Even owning your own business is very stressful, but I think this is probably compared to a hospital administration. This is probably a walk in the park as far as the stress level goes.
You have a purpose with this. It's a single purpose, and that is to, it's to be someone who realizes the heritage that we have in maritime subjects, and this is probably one of the best places in the country to reflect that. So it's to maintain the history, to protect it, and it's to depict what goes on here in ways that people value.
I'll tell you, I know as we were waiting to sit down and talk around, I was looking at some of the art that you have around, and it's an incredible variety. You go from historical, you go to, obviously there's a very big 100%, probably close to 100% marine slant to it. I think there's a few things
that are not necessarily. I love in particular the whimsical crabs up on the front wall with the crab balls, the crab.
Right, crabs mowing the grass. That's crabgrass. Crab balls.
Yeah, I think you've got Aubrey Bodine, a lot of Aubrey Bodine work, who is one of the preeminent photographers, I would say, of Annapolis and the Baltimore area, along with Marion Warren.
Right.
I don't know. Do you have any Marion Warren stuff or?
Rarely.
Okay.
Bodine appeals to the sense of humor, the whimsical kinds of aspects of the area. We have one called Crabs and Natty Bow, which shows some waiters having dinner, and they have the boards spread across their beer kegs, and they're all cracking crabs. These are the waiters who serve the stuff during their on hours, and then their off hours they dig in.
Yeah.
And that's back in the 40s.
Right. He's not still alive, is he?
No, he died in 57.
Okay. Because I know that, and Marion Warren died fairly recently. I think.
Marion Warren was attempted to. I don't think he was the same photojournalist that Bodine was. He was more of he had an artistic motivation to his thing.
What have you always been? You've always been in this location here.
We have,
which I didn't. And was the original gallery prior to you always here?
Yes.
I didn't realize that this location was that old. Maybe I guess. Well, it
used to be an A&P. And then before that, people who know the ancient history, this was started as a wax museum.
A wax museum?
A wax museum.
What, like Tussauds?
Sort of. And I'm not sure exactly what they had as far as figures, but it was a wax museum. Maybe they had Robert E. Lee on a horse or something. I don't remember I don't know what they had.
Interesting. Well,
we still have the quarry tile floor from the A&P out in the
hallways. I'm going to go take a look at that and I'll take notice. See, when you live in town, you become jaded and you don't see a lot of the things. And I've always been an advocate of going on some of the tours that we've got. Watermark does some of the walking tours, and you, even the ghost tours and the boat tours. You always end up picking up a little bit of something extra that you never really saw or noticed before.
That's right.
And that's actually part of why we're doing this, is that there's some of these businesses that have just been around forever. I am sure there's probably a lot of people that have walked past here and looked in the window, but aren't sure what's going on and seeing this. I honestly didn't know that you had a second floor, as embarrassed as I am to say.
It's not a display area, but people go up there and we have things on the wall, and they can go up there and look at whatever they want to look at.
How has the art changed in your 20 years? I mean, have you really changed? Has anything really changed in the way you're? I
would say there's certain trends in marine art, just as there are in everything else. But people have gone away from, let's say, that first, they've gone away from wildlife prints and limited edition prints mostly. I would say limited edition prints are at a low point in terms of collectability. It used to be a real fad to collect everything.
Okay, and this is the print of that golden lab sleeping on a bed.
Right.
Type of a...
Well, the artist that was Andrew Wyeth.
Right.
Remember that? But Wyeth and his limited edition prints are probably fewer sold today than were in the past. I don't know.
And people are looking for originals or different types of sculptures that you.
They're looking for sculpture. They're looking for real things you can hold in your hand and you can value. I've got people who used to come in and buy 5 of the same print just to have them to bank on the growth of their value.
Huh.
But now it's. I think those people, at least temporarily, they're disappointed.
It's funny. Art, wine, and beer tend to be the same thing for me. I can't tell you why I like something, but I can tell you that I do like it.
Sure.
And I've never been able to. I've never gone into wine, beer, or art and be able to say, oh, well, I like the way that the green's reflecting off of the. I don't see any of that.
Yeah.
I just like the picture of that fish. I love that striper, that bass that's about ready to strike on the lure that's sitting there.
Right.
it would look great in this room in my house or this in my office. And I think that you've got I'm looking at it out over your shoulder at the bronze sculptures with all sorts of sculptures that are on the wall.
Yes. Paul Lockhart does scenes from the biosphere here, and herons and crabs, of course.
Yeah, and we've got some rockfish, and of course we've got some turtles and everything else.
But his sculptures are classically this area. We have a table where there's reeds, and in the reeds you can see a heron stalking, but you can't see the whole heron. It's just like it's very naturalistic.
Oh, that's neat.
It's sort of hidden halfway.
That's neat. What I think we mentioned before we started recording, but what one time attracted me was after Isabel came through here, and for the longest time, and I don't know whether it's still in there, I didn't notice on my way in, but in the picture you have a big, long, stitched together panoramic photograph of the flooding that we had in 93?
No, 2003.
2003, I'm a decade off. And when, for those that weren't here or haven't heard about it, this was a, hopefully, knock on wood, once-in-a-lifetime flood that came through after Tropical Storm Isabel came up. It was a tropical storm at that point. And the water was standing, just in reference point, you could probably be about ankle deep up where... certainly where Buddy's was, but then even a little bit further on, but even a little bit further up Main Street. And down here around Ego Alley, this was probably waist high.
It was. It was. And we saw it coming in that night. The winds were blowing, and all the guys were standing around looking at each other, and you could tell they were... My reaction was, I'm going home. We've done all we can, and I'm just going to let what happened happen.
That's true. You're not going to, you're not going to be able to push the water out the front door or hold the window intact if the wind decides to take it out. It's just you need to deal with it. That's probably a very smart move. Yeah.
Well, people said, "Well, didn't you have sandbags?" And I said, "Sandbags are fine, but all they do is create a barrier to the sloshing when the trucks go by. They mitigate the turbulence, but it's still going to come in."
That's true.
Let's talk about surreal. Try walking into your business waist deep in water.
What is selling in the art world now for you guys?
It's what has always sold. Aspects of it that have always sold traditionally. It's Admiral Nelson and his 3 flagships, painted by Jeff Hunt. Sea life appeals to people. Willard Bond is always a crowd pleaser. People think of Willard Bond, if they're sailors, sailing action, they find it really captures all that emotion and all the lack of control when you're sailing in a race, the imminent capsizing, all the motion of the water. And he does it accurately. So we have sailors who come in here and they say, nobody does it like him.
Right. Are you online as well?
Oh yeah.
As far as, do you find that? And I'm going to venture to say that a lot of your artwork is probably shipped. You've got a visitor that comes in here that shops in the gallery. They're probably not wrapping up a 4-foot by 3-foot.
That's right.
Painting and taking it under their arm.
True.
Do you get a lot of business online, or not really, or is
it's building? But we don't. Our main business, our main customer, actually wants to come in and experience it. If they're going to buy something expensive, they want to experience it.
It's funny. I've talked to several different retailers, and they say that there seems to be, while the internet was really a challenge and hurt a lot of the retail businesses initially, and the whole Amazon psyche that's going on out there.
Yep.
But a lot of people are seeing this change. That I want to hold it. I want to feel it. I want to see it. And certainly, if you're talking about something that is an investment, okay, if I'm buying a $250, just a little print to put on an easel on my desk, that's
Right.
That's one thing. If I'm buying a $200 print, that I want to be a little bit more sure of that. And I think that I had a friend of mine that was a consultant up in the travel business that said one time, he said, when the internet first came out, I said, at some point there's going to be a conversation going, well, I'm going to go down to the store and see what they've got. And somebody's like, what, like really be able to hold this stuff? And
sure.
and it is. It is starting to come back to that. I think that what's unique about Annapolis is the relationships that we build with the customers in the community.
Right.
And I think that you're here. You're a person that you can shake hands with. You can look them in the eye, work with you to make your decision as to what you want if they don't know what's coming in. And I find a number of stores are like that, whether they're selling clothing or, even I'm sure Chicken Roost does it too if you can't decide what you're having for breakfast or what type of, print or what type of sculpture would probably look good in a living room next to a fireplace or whatever it would be.
Restaurants burgeon because you can't eat their food unless you go there.
True.
We're okay because you can't really experience art unless you go there. And there's all kinds of subtleties to art. The brushstrokes, the way it shines, the way you feel about it in its presence is totally different than if you're sitting at the computer.
Well, it's an emotional experience, and as I said, I sit there and I look at it and I go, wow, I really like that. I personally can't put my finger on why, but I do know what I like. And again, I don't ever remember getting something like that where I put it on the, looking at a slideshow that comes across my computer.
Mm-hmm. I've had jewelers in town. One of them is wrapping up his business. Get very, bitter about the internet. Mm-hmm. And he holds up his phone saying, we'd be okay except for this. And the phone, it represents the online purchaser.
Well, to a degree, I think you need to be part of the internet. I think you've got to be part of that conversation.
Right. You have to be.
It doesn't need to be your business, but you have to be part of that conversation. You have to be in the.
Well, you have to, in order to beat them or be successful, you have to join them. Mm-hmm. In fact, we have our own website, but I always have thought, let's go on Amazon, see how that or Instagram. Instagram is much more pictorial than Amazon, but both,
Right. Are you on Instagram?
No. We have a presence on Instagram, but we actually don't sell through Instagram. Right.
As 20 years here, what positive changes have you seen downtown? What positive changes have you seen for down here?
Annapolis being the averse to change,
just
additional.
Yeah. Obviously something has changed for the positive. Obviously there's some negative stuff that goes on too as well. Sure. But you've shown the test of time. You're here. There's not a clearance sale in the banner in the window, and so something had to work for you coming down here. And is it the product that?
What works is our product. People find it to high quality. We have the top artists. There's no question about it. We've just been approached by the American Art Awards group, and we've been named the best art gallery in Maryland.
I didn't realize that.
Top art gallery in Maryland. And
you do have different gallery or different showings and different exhibits, and how often are they?
They're just random, and we have these next 2 weeks are our two main shows, and then we have a show usually during the Christmas season and during the October Boat Show. But we're not big on shows because people find us a little inaccessible. Well, particularly during those festival types.
You've got good exposure, sir. Everybody. If you come to Annapolis and visit, and you don't get down to Susan Campbell Park,
right,
to just look out across the harbor, you might as well just go home and say you didn't go to Annapolis because that's where you have. So, which entails, of course, walking right past your window. For the most part, people will go down the boardwalk along Eagle Alley, come around, and then come right back past your window.
Sure. It's the super location, and people come in and they look at art, they look at the original art, and those who aren't familiar with what original art costs from a reputable artist, from a renowned artist, that's usually what determines the price of things.
You've got that. I mean, and I think at any point you get a little bit of sticker shock with, depending on no matter where. I mean, you could be worth millions of dollars and get sticker shock. I remember one time I was in New Orleans in an antique store standing under a chandelier.
Yeah.
And it was a chandelier, very sizable one with my kids, and I looked at the price tag on it, and I went like, ugh. And my kid says, what is it? I said, it costs more than our house. I mean, it was a $400,000 chandelier, which to me was just absolutely unfounded. But to turn around and see an original print by an artist that has the talent, the eye, to put it together, framed for a beautiful piece of investment art that could go on my wall for $2,500, $4,500. It doesn't even need to be that much. Is well worth the.
A lot of people are put off by it, but you have to explain to them this is an artist who is probably at the top of his craft, well known, and that's really what determines the value of original art. John Stobart, who's a well-known artist. I mean, well-known is an understatement. He's world famous. He's considered the dean of the marine and nautical art field. He's 90 now, and he's slowing down. But his things go, and we'll have some of those here this weekend. Some of his things go for $300,000 and $400,000.
Wow.
So I have some people coming in.
See, that would be my sticker shock. Well, if you show me one that's like $700-800, I get it.
What's the name? You have to know John Stobart and his renown to appreciate it. But if you'd like to, you come in and see it.
And again, that would be, for me, that would be something that I would look and go, wow, I do like that. And or I don't like that, and that's how my art is. And then then it's just an argument between me and my wallet.
Yeah,
that's it.
I'm trying to get the owner of the Stobart Annapolis scene, which you can see right there, the print of it. He has the original oil, and I'm not sure whether he'll want to put it up for sale or whether he'll want to just display it. But we'll have bunches of other Stobarts for sale that day, and they're sticker shock unless you know the market.
That is true.
Everything in art is determined by how an artist markets himself, how the art world regards that name. Mm-hmm. Andrew Wyeth, very distinctive style. John Stobart, very distinctive style.
Sure.
And
I remember it certainly wouldn't be anything that you would ever carry, but the who was the guy that did the lights? And I think he just recently died. It was it had like the house in the woods and the
painter of light, Thomas Kincaid.
Never particularly cared for his artwork, but it was just absolutely went like hotcakes.
You either really like it or you think it's trite. Those who like it, those who own his originals, probably have an asset that's going to appreciate over time.
One of the ones that I when I was browsing the gallery, I looked at that I really did like was the ones in the surf with the people in the surf.
Oh yeah,
the people are and I didn't touch it because I know better, but they're 3D. They're and I don't know whether they're actually people that are glued onto the painting or whether that's paint that's. That is
little stick people, chromosome people, and you look at each group of people, they're doing something else, doing their own thing on the beach.
And there's two of them that you've got a larger one and a smaller one that I think are just absolutely fantastic. I think it's very whimsical here. I think you've got, and it's not limited, as we said, to paintings and sculptures. Mm-hmm. I was looking in your glass case. You've got some ship models, which are just absolutely beautiful. Some of the skipjacks and some of the bug-eyes. I don't think I saw a tall ship, but I think there may be.
Yeah, there's a bug-eye,
but you've got the ship sculptures, you've got some glass sculptures, you've got. I saw some jewelry, I saw some scrimshaw. Lots of scrimshaw with. Is it true scrimshaw with whalebone or is it?
Well, no, it's actually.
The one I saw was kind of interesting. It's on a piano key.
Right, piano key is antique and it's elephant ivory, but that's the only elephant ivory we would ever we ever even touch here is something that otherwise, piano keys being the case,
right,
otherwise be thrown away, disposed of. But even then, I'm just wondering whether having that encourages elephant ivory. Anyway, I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't think so. It's decorating what otherwise would be trash.
Right.
Usually, what we do have scrimshaw on is mammoth ivory, and that is woolly mammoth elephants are always surfacing from the permafrost in the northern climes, and mammoth elephants that are extinct now, but their tusks are intact, and the tusks are huge. They're 10 feet long.
Wow.
And that's what we use. That's what a lot of scrimshanders, which is the name
are using now.
Are using now.
Interesting. But
walrus ivory. Okay.
But some of the detail on them, and again, for those that aren't familiar with the scrimshaw, the art from way back when, I mean, the intricacies. I mean, I've seen you've got some pieces here, the Thomas Point Light, and you've got some boats and everything else there as well. There's some wonderful prints of Annapolis, and I do love them. You've got several that have the point of view from atop the Capitol Dome,
exactly.
Looking down there. You've got some painting or some photographs that show Annapolis in days gone by, probably well before you and well before me, for sure.
A photograph panoramic of 1906, and it's very interesting to see that.
And it's a different town.
It is. It's the old colonial Annapolis, and it's taken in from a panoramic viewpoint. 1906, they actually had cameras that would do that. It's almost from 180. All the way across.
Just took us 100 years to put it into a cell phone to be able to do that.
Mike Ashford took John Stobart up in a helicopter to take the picture that resulted in his Stobart's Annapolis painting, and then Stobart did a great job of depicting it.
Is that how a lot of artists work? Is painting off of a photograph, or
they do? Sure, that tells them what's where and so forth. But Stobart took a daylight scene that was a photo, and then he decided where the moon should go.
Okay.
She moved a couple times, and after he painted it turned out okay.
Well, fantastic. Well, if you want to just check out a slight bit of what you want to see at Annapolis Marine Art Gallery, you can go to AnnapolisMarineArt.com.
Yes.
But I don't recommend you. Well, I do recommend you do that. But more importantly, come on down to Dock Street in Annapolis. It's right at the corner of Dock and Craig.
That's right.
Is that the little side street of this
Craig Street?
And overlooking Eagle Alley, it's Annapolis Marine Art Gallery. I'm here with Jeff Schaub, who is the second owner in 41 years of a very whimsical, very nautical, obviously themed gallery. But step on in. I think you'd be surprised at what you got. This is a business that's been around for 41 years. You obviously know what you're doing. You know what it takes to succeed. And certainly, I want to say, congratulations on 40.
Thank you.
Do you got any future plans or?
No. I mean, we've been successful doing what we're doing. The history of Annapolis is very rich, and we will change little. We'll do little adjustments here and there, but we're going to be the same.
But don't fix it if it ain't broke.
That's correct. You got it.
Jeff Schaub, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks for listening to this special podcast for Ion Annapolis. Please be sure to visit ionannapolis.net for all your local news, events, and opinions. And in case you haven't already, please subscribe to the Ion Annapolis Daily News Brief, where we bring you your local news direct to your phone or tablet every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Subscribe on iTunes or Google Play.